Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here. Today, we're going to step into a virtual coaching session to unpack a deeply relatable mystery: why your mind absolutely insists on keeping you awake with the most embarrassing memories from your past. As your guide and virtual psychologist today, I want to help you decode what's actually happening in your brain during those late-night stress spirals. We're going to take the mystery out of this entirely, and most importantly, give you the actual tools to overcome it.
So let's just dive right into this shared experience. Picture this, because I know we've all been there. You're lying in bed, you're finally about to fall asleep, the room is perfectly quiet, and then out of absolutely nowhere, your heart just starts racing over that time you called your teacher mom in the 3rd grade. Or maybe you sent a deeply personal text to the completely wrong group chat. You literally hide your face in your own pillow and whisper, "Oh, why did I do that?" First things first. As a psychologist, the absolute most important thing I want you to hear in our session today is that this painful mental replay, it is not a flaw in your character. It doesn't mean you're uniquely awkward or somehow broken. Actually, scratch that. It's the exact opposite. It is a deeply ingrained biological mechanism. Believe it or not, your brain isn't trying to torture you. It's just doing something it's specifically evolved to do.
All right, let's get into session 1, your ancient warning system.
To really fix our modern minds, we have to take a quick trip back, like 40,000 years back, to understand the environment our ancient ancestors lived in. Look at this stark comparison on the screen. For our tribal ancestors, social rejection wasn't just, emotionally painful. It literally meant losing the protection of the group, which almost certainly led to starvation or death. Because belonging was literally life or death, your ancient brain evolved to pay extraordinary attention to social mistakes. So, fast forward to today, and your brain is still misinterpreting a modern social misstep, like a brief, mildly awkward moment at the office, as an absolute literal threat to your survival. Think of your brain as a hypervigilant mistake detector. It is absolutely obsessed with collecting data from unusual events. Just like it wants you to vividly remember the agonizing pain of touching a hot stove so you never ever do it again, it uses embarrassment as an internal warning system. Reliving the memory feels awful, but it's actually a form of training, not punishment. Your brain is just trying to protect your future reputation by making sure you don't repeat behavior that once threatened your social standing. Moving right along, let's look at session 2, the neuroscience of cringe. Okay, now that we've reframed the problem from a personal failure to a hardwired survival tactic, let's look under the hood at the actual biological machinery making these memories feel so intensely real. When you experience humiliation, your amygdala, which is basically your brain's internal fire alarm, immediately sounds the alert. It completely floods your body with stress hormones. It's effectively screaming to the rest of your nervous system, "Hey, pay attention, something incredibly important just happened." This biological reaction is exactly why your physical response to a memory from 10 years ago can feel identical to a threat happening right in front of your face right now. And here's where it gets really fascinating. The hippocampus teams up with the amygdala to lock this all in. I mean, think about it. You probably completely forgot what you ate for lunch last Tuesday, right? But the hippocampus makes sure that a single awkward conversation stays vividly etched into your mind for an entire decade. Because the amygdala flagged that moment with intense emotion and stress hormones, the hippocampus takes it and files it away in the absolute highest priority section of your long-term memory.
Let's tackle session 3, the spotlight effect illusion.
In our cognitive behavioral coaching today, we are going to actively dismantle some mental distortions, starting with the absolute biggest trick your brain plays on you. The crucial point is right here in that tiny 5% sliver. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. Your brain makes you feel like you're the star of your own blooper reel, like 95% of the room is staring at you, judging you, and logging your mistakes into some permanent record. But the incredibly liberating truth? Everyone else is actually way too busy worrying about their own mistakes to remember yours. Honestly, can you vividly remember every awkward thing your classmates did years ago? Probably not, because they're the center of their own universe just as you are the center of yours. So why does this spotlight effect totally amplify at night? Well, because the quiet environment removes all of the day's physical and mental distractions. That silence gives your brain the perfect opportunity to loudly review your past. It pulls up these old, intensely filed memory folders just to check if those ancient survival lessons still apply to your current life. It's basically running routine maintenance on your survival software in the dead of night, which, let's be honest, feels like absolute torture when you're just trying to get some sleep.
And it's super important to note that not everyone experiences this equally. If you look at this table and identify with having high anxiety, perfectionism, or low self-confidence, your nighttime memory loops might be a lot more frequent. This is simply because your brain is trying extra hard to protect a highly vulnerable sense of self. It's constantly scanning for errors, or even worse, it's using your past mistakes as concrete evidence to validate your current self-doubt.
Finally, we've arrived at session 4, breaking the anxiety cycle. We are officially in the treatment plan phase of our explainer. Now that we actually understand the evolutionary biology and those sneaky cognitive distortions, I want to give you actionable clinical tools to finally rewire this exhausting response. Let's get to work. The absolute first step in breaking the cycle is radical acceptance. Instead of fighting the memory when it pops up, which, by the way, only signals to your brain that it's still a dangerous active threat, I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself this specific coaching question. What lesson was my brain trying to teach me?
Let's break this down into 3 super simple steps you can use tonight. Step 1, identify the protective lesson your brain is trying to flag for you. Step 2, once you acknowledge the lesson, explicitly tell your brain that the lesson has been successfully learned. Literally say it out loud in your room if you have to. Yes, brain, I learned not to send risky text without double-checking the recipient. We are safe now. And step 3, gently guide your focus back to the present moment. This process signals safety and physically breaks that exhausting mental replay loop. Over time, if you proactively integrate these grounded coping strategies, you're going to quiet that ancient survival instinct and dramatically reduce this unnecessary mental torture. Keep the spotlight effect in mind. Remember, others are replaying their own mistakes in their beds, not yours. Practice immense self-compassion. Talk to yourself the exact same way you talk to a best friend who made a silly mistake. Improve your sleep hygiene and consciously try to reduce your daily stress, because a stressed brain is way more likely to pull that emotional fire alarm. And finally, stay fiercely focused on the present.
Remember, you aren't broken. Your brain is just doing its ancient job a little too well. It's trying to keep you safe in a tribe that just doesn't exist anymore. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to reflect on as our session wraps up today. If your brain is really just trying to protect you, what could you accomplish if you finally relieved it from its stressful job as your harshest critic? Imagine the peace and the sheer energy you would free up. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Be kind to your mind, practice these tools, and I can't wait to guide you in our next session.